An open chair for us now, huh, Martha? Right on. Morning, everybody. Fox News alert, this is the day in Iran the nuclear deal begins. UN inspectors said to be confirming that that country so far sticking to an agreement scaling back enrichment. In return, Iran gets billions of dollars in sanctions relief, but Congress now pushing forward with a plan for even tighter restrictions. A live report throughout the day here on that story. Another Fox News alert. We're less than 3 weeks now until the opening ceremonies for the Winter Games and another terrorist threat against the Games in Russia. This comes in the form of an online video from an Islamic militant group in Russia. In it, two men warn of a, quote, surprise package for those who plan to attend the game. There's a lot of news on this as we say welcome to you and another week here in America's Newsroom. I'm Bill Hemmer. Good morning. Good morning, Martha.
Good Monday, everybody. Hey, Bill. Good morning, everybody. I'm Martha McCallum. So other already world leaders are voicing their own concerns. And the U.S. State Department has issued a travel advisory for the country that the Olympics are in. Not something you see every day. Top intelligence officials here say that they think these threats are not to be taken lightly.
All the briefings I've received from the intelligence community to the FBI and others indicate that there are serious concerns and that we need to do a lot to step up security. I do believe Putin is doing a lot of that.
So that's Mike McCall, a congressman who was doing that interview from Moscow. Jonathan Hunt in our newsroom here in New York on this now. How serious is this threat, Jonathan?
Well, it's certainly being taken very seriously in Russia and indeed around the world, including here in the U.S., Bill. That video was put out by an Islamic militant group, and in it they made a direct threat. We, of course, know that these kind of major events are always attractive to terrorists, but there are not often direct threats made quite like this one. And this group is being taken seriously because they are believed to be the same group that was behind those twin suicide bombings in Volgograd last month. You'll remember those bombings well. Those pictures went around the world, of course, sent a warning to everybody, killed dozens of people. President Putin, though, says his security forces are up to the job. Listen here.
The job of the Olympics host is to ensure security of the participants in the Olympics and visitors. We will do whatever it takes.
Now, whatever it takes might sound good, but that, in a sense, also worries some other security agencies because Russian security forces have, of course, shown a willingness in hostage situations to shoot first and ask questions later with little regard for the safety of the hostages. Wow. So there's a lot of concerns here, Bill.
Also, there's concern Russia's not cooperating when countries like the United States sending athletes to that country. And they want more information. What's happening with that, Jonathan?
Yeah, now, obviously, in any Olympics, the host nation takes the lead in organizing security. But usually there is a great deal of collaboration and information sharing just to help secure the site, to make sure the athletes are as safe as they can possibly be. But apparently that has not been happening to the extent that U.S. officials would like to see it. And it is a major concern, according to Congressman Mike Rogers, who's chair of the House Intelligence Committee here.
This has been a tug of war. People are pushing and pulling on this. This shouldn't be this difficult. It is in everyone's interest, including the Russians, to share that information with our security forces so that we can make sure that our activities, our athletes and the participants are safe when they go to the games.
Now, U.S. officials are also studying contingency plans for how they might be able to go in and rescue American citizens if it is necessary. But again, Bill, a lot of issues there because the Russians very rarely accept any outside help if the worst is to happen. And we hope, of course, that it doesn't.
Indeed. It's going to be a big story for the next couple of months. Thank you, Jonathan Hunt, in our newsroom here. Martha has more.
Indeed it is. As you guys have been talking about, security surrounding the games in Sochi is said to be unprecedented. Some 1,400 cameras have been installed throughout the town. There will also be close to 100,000 security personnel on hand. That is in addition to more than 40,000 police officers. The price tag for all of this, an estimated $3 billion with a B, dollars for security in Sochi.
Trying to keep it safe. Martha on the screen now. We'll refresh this for our viewers often over the next couple of weeks. Capital city Moscow. Down here in the Black Sea is the town of Sochi. To the east, about 300 miles, you have the region of Chechnya, and east of that is Dagestan. Why is all this important? Chechnya is the heart, it's the root of Islamic terrorism that the Russians have been dealing with now for decades. Dagestan is where, well, the Boston bombers went for help. And Dagestan is also where on Friday 9 people were injured from the latest bomb that took place. Jonathan mentioned the town of Volgograd. Now that's about 400 miles to the northeast. And over the past 2 weeks, that's where 2 separate explosions took place. The Olympic torch passed through this town over the weekend, and Volgograd, it goes through Dagestan in the coming week, and we'll see whether or not the police keep that safe as we go through it. 15,000 Americans will descend on Sochi over the next 3 weeks or so. Athletes, participants, coaches, people who want to go and watch the games. There's this perimeter that's massive in this town. 25 miles by 60 miles. You can keep that safe in all likelihood, but there's so many soft targets all over that area outside of that zone is the reason for the tension now.
That's where we've seen the messages sent so far.
That's right.
And we'll see what happens in this. We'll be following it closely, of course, over the next couple of weeks.